Imagine a life where stillness holds more value than constant noise. In a world where our minds race and our days are filled with conversations, messages, and social media updates, it's easy to forget the power of quiet. Yet Buddhist philosophy gently reminds us that silence is not just a pause, it's a deeply healing force. It encourages us to appreciate the strength of being silent, particularly in 5 important moments. As we walk the path of Buddhist thought, we uncover how staying silent in these situations can lead to growth and clarity. These age-old lessons offer guidance that can help us live with greater awareness, balance, and intention. Let's dive into these timeless truths, welcoming the calm that silence brings, and uncovering peaceful answers to life's challenges. 1. Silence when we are angry. Imagine being able to face your anger with clarity instead of chaos. One of the most powerful teachings is this: stay silent when anger arises. This simple act carries profound wisdom, as anger is a fierce emotion, one that can quickly spiral into harm when left unchecked. When we speak or act while angry, our judgment is often clouded, and the damage done can be difficult to undo. Buddhism reveals that anger is rooted in 3 key mental poisons: craving, resistance, and misunderstanding. When we're deeply attached to outcomes, resist what is happening, or fail to grasp the ever-changing nature of life, anger can take control. In such instances, silence is not avoidance. It's a powerful response. By choosing silence, we give ourselves a pause, a breath, a moment to notice what's really happening inside us. We begin to watch our emotions instead of reacting blindly to them. This intentional stillness becomes a space for mindful awareness, where we can begin to inquire, what is triggering this anger? What fear or desire lies beneath it? Silence also acts as a protective barrier. It shields us and others from the impulsive words or actions we might later regret. Through restraint, we avoid unnecessary conflict and preserve the integrity of our relationships. Anger left unexamined can harm, but anger met with silence opens the door to insight. Buddhist stories often illustrate this through the metaphor of the 2 arrows. The first arrow is the initial pain, an inevitable part of life. But the second arrow is the suffering we create by our reaction to that pain. When we meet that first pain with anger, we launch the second arrow at ourselves. But if we pause and remain silent, we allow ourselves to experience the pain without compounding it. This practice is not about bottling emotions or pretending we don't feel hurt. It's about facing those feelings with a steady, curious mind. When we don't rush to express anger outwardly, we can start to see what lies beneath it. Often we find it's our own unmet expectations or rigid attachments that cause us distress. Silence helps us to respond instead of react. In doing so, it invites compassion, not just for others, but for ourselves. We begin to cultivate emotional intelligence and steadiness. When we stop feeding the fire of anger with more heat, we can begin to cool the flames. Moreover, silence opens the door to better listening. In moments of anger, we tend to become fixated on our own pain and miss what others are truly saying. By stepping back into silence, we make room to hear, not just the words, but the intention, the emotion, the humanity in others. This simple pause can transform confrontation into connection. Anger, when met with reaction, often breeds more anger. It creates cycles of pain, pushing people further apart. Silence can interrupt this loop. It's not a withdrawal, it's a conscious choice to break the chain and create a different outcome. one rooted in peace and mutual understanding. Ultimately, the silence we practice in moments of anger becomes a path to deeper emotional balance. It helps us release resentment, move toward forgiveness, and live more lightly. It's a practice that aligns with Buddhism's core aim, to be free from suffering and to live with awareness, compassion, and grace. Second, tactical silence against conflicts. In moments of conflict, consider the power of silence. Conflict is an unavoidable aspect of human relationships, but how we approach it can deeply affect its resolution. Buddhism suggests that silence can be a profound response to conflict, emphasizing mindfulness, compassion, and understanding in resolving disputes. Conflicts often emerge from differing views, values, or desires, leading to arguments, hurt feelings, and emotional tension. In such situations, silence serves as a cooling balm, offering us the chance to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully. Choosing silence during a conflict is not about suppressing emotions or avoiding the issue. Rather, it creates space for active listening, empathy, and finding common ground. By staying silent, we allow ourselves and others the opportunity to express their thoughts and feelings freely, without the fear of judgment or escalating the tension. Moreover, silence helps us detach from the emotional reactions that often fuel the conflict, allowing us to move beyond anger or defensiveness, which can worsen the situation. Conflict is part of all human interactions. Whether it's a disagreement with a family member, a clash with a colleague, or a dispute with a friend, we all face it. The way we handle conflict can significantly affect our relationships and emotional well-being. Buddhism encourages silence during conflict because it offers a chance for more mindful and compassionate solutions. Let's explore how silence can be a powerful tool in resolving disputes. At the heart of many conflicts are differences in opinions, values, or interests. When these differences escalate, they can lead to arguments, emotional distress, or even strained relationships. Buddhism recognizes how such conflicts stir up intense emotions, clouding our judgment and making it harder to find a peaceful resolution. Silence during these moments isn't about avoiding or suppressing our feelings. Instead, it's a conscious choice to foster space for reflection, active listening, and empathy. By remaining silent, we give ourselves time to listen fully to the other person's words and perspective. This pause allows us to hear beyond the surface of their argument and understand their feelings. Such mindful listening can ease tension and create the opportunity for a more constructive conversation. Additionally, silence allows us to step back and reflect on our own emotional reactions, helping us gain insight into the deeper causes of the conflict and our role in it. Another critical role of silence is to prevent further escalation. When we react with anger, defensiveness, or counterattacks, the conflict often deepens, and a resolution becomes even harder to reach. Silence intervenes in this cycle, providing a space to reflect before responding with intention, rather than reacting impulsively. By taking this pause, we can approach the situation more thoughtfully, focusing on the well-being of the relationship rather than winning the argument. This practice mirrors the Buddhist teaching of non-attachment. It encourages us to set aside our attachment to being right or defending our ego, and instead prioritize harmony, understanding, and resolution. Silence in these moments enables us to respond with compassion and a willingness to compromise, creating an environment where both parties can feel heard and work towards a solution. The true power of silence in conflict resolution lies in its ability to nurture empathy and understanding. It helps us see beyond our immediate emotional reactions and consider the needs and feelings of the other person involved. When we practice silence, we create a space where mutual respect can thrive, making it easier for both sides to express themselves and collaborate on a peaceful solution. Ultimately, silence during conflict aligns with the Buddhist principles of mindfulness, compassion, and non-attachment. It is a tool that allows us to approach conflicts with wisdom and understanding, fostering an atmosphere of empathy, reducing harm, and preserving relationships. By embracing this practice, we contribute to resolving conflicts in a way that promotes peace and harmony, both within ourselves and in our communities. 3. Choosing silence in response to gossip. Picture a moment when harmful words fill the air, rumors whispered, reputations questioned. In such moments, the wisest response may be the quietest one. Remaining silent when confronted with gossip and slander is a profound act of integrity. This choice is more than just restraint. It's a conscious stand for compassion and ethical communication. Words can carry incredible weight. In Buddhism, the practice of right speech, one of the Eightfold Path's core teachings, reminds us to speak truthfully, kindly, and purposefully. Gossip and slander stand in direct opposition to this. They are born from toxic emotions such as jealousy, bitterness, or insecurity, and they create ripples of pain for everyone involved, not just the target, but also the speaker and even the listener. By not engaging, we avoid fueling harmful narratives. Silence becomes a boundary, one that protects our own mind from negativity and stops the chain of harm from continuing. It prevents us from adding to the suffering of others and keeps us aligned with our values. Choosing not to respond to slander or gossip also creates space for reflection. Why are these conversations happening? What emotions are driving them? What within us might be tempted to join in? These moments of stillness can reveal our own vulnerabilities and offer the chance to transform them into awareness and growth. Furthermore, when we remain quiet in the face of such talk, we subtly signal that we do not condone it. Our silence can serve as a mirror, inviting others to examine their own words and perhaps even reconsider their actions. Often, this quiet disapproval is more impactful than confrontation. The damage caused by negative speech is well known. Harsh words, even if based on half-truths or assumptions, can erode trust, destroy relationships, and leave lasting wounds. The one being spoken about suffers emotional harm, while the speaker accumulates inner turmoil and karmic consequences. Silence, on the other hand, breaks this pattern. It halts the spread of judgment and blame, and it shields us from the consequences of impulsive or unkind words. In this way, silence becomes both a spiritual practice and an ethical shield. The Buddhist view reminds us that the tongue, though small, can create immense suffering or healing. When used recklessly, it becomes a weapon. When used mindfully, it becomes a tool for peace. Practicing silence when tempted to speak ill of others allows us to be intentional with our energy and aligned with the values of kindness and understanding. More than avoidance, this practice is a form of engagement with awareness, self-discipline, and compassion. It encourages us to look inward and ask ourselves, am I speaking from a place of love or from a place of ego? These questions guide us toward more conscious and compassionate living. By refusing to participate in harmful dialogue, We foster a culture that values empathy over criticism, understanding over assumption. We shift the focus from judgment to kindness, from separation to connection. Over time, this contributes to healthier relationships and a more supportive, loving community. In essence, remaining silent when gossip and slander arise is not a sign of passivity, but of wisdom and inner strength. It reflects the essence of right speech and invites others to rise to that same standard. When we choose words with care or choose silence instead, we take a powerful step toward creating a more peaceful world, both within and around us. 4. Silence during pain and suffering. In the face of others' suffering, choose silence. Compassion is a central tenet of Buddhism, and this teaching underscores the power of silence as a way to express compassion and provide comfort to those enduring hardship. When we encounter someone in pain, our immediate instinct might be to offer comforting words or solutions. However, Buddhism suggests that in many cases, silence can be the most compassionate and profound response. It communicates our presence, empathy, and our readiness to listen without judgment. Suffering is an inherent part of life, taking many forms, from physical pain and emotional turmoil to the everyday challenges we all face. When we witness the suffering of others, we may feel driven to offer advice or consolation. While these responses are well-intentioned, Buddhism teaches that silence often carries a deeper power. Silence in such moments tells the person that we are there with them, sharing the burden of their pain without the need to fix it. It creates a safe space for them to express their feelings, thoughts, and struggles at their own pace, allowing them to feel heard and understood. In this quiet space, the individual can find comfort, as silence provides them the opportunity to speak without fear of judgment or rushing toward premature solutions. Silence allows them to present their suffering in its most raw and unfiltered form. This process of sharing can be incredibly healing, as it validates their emotions and experience. Moreover, silence shows respect for their autonomy, acknowledging their ability to work through their pain in their own way. It honors the fact that not all suffering can be alleviated through words or advice. Sometimes, the most meaningful gift we can offer is simply our presence and our capacity to listen attentively. Witnessing the suffering of others is a frequent experience in our interconnected world. Whether it's a friend dealing with a breakup, a family member facing a health crisis, or a stranger going through a difficult time, we often find ourselves confronted with another's pain. Our natural response might be to offer words of comfort or to try to solve the problem at hand. Yet Buddhism suggests that in many situations, silence is the more compassionate path. This teaching is in line with the Buddhist principle of right speech, which encourages speech that is kind, true, and beneficial. When faced with another's suffering, silence can be the kindest and most beneficial response. In these moments, silence speaks volumes. It expresses empathy and communicates that we are there, ready to listen and offer support. Words, no matter how well-intentioned, can sometimes fall short in conveying the full depth of our compassion. Silence, on the other hand, gives the suffering person a space to articulate their pain in their own time, without pressure or judgment. In this space of silence, individuals may find solace as they feel heard in an authentic, non-judgmental way. Silence frees them from feeling rushed into accepting solutions or advice they may not be ready for. It allows their emotions to be acknowledged as they are, creating room for healing. Furthermore, silence affirms the person's own ability to navigate their pain. While advice or reassurances may sometimes feel overbearing, silence acknowledges that the individual's journey through suffering is unique and personal. It allows them the dignity to explore their own path to healing and find their own insights. This approach is rooted in Buddhism's deep understanding of compassion. True compassion isn't simply feeling sorry for others. It is the desire to alleviate their suffering through empathetic presence. In silence, we offer a different kind of support. We bear witness to the pain, we share in it, and we create a safe and non-judgmental space for them to process their emotions. It's important to remember that silence is not always the best response, and there are moments when words of support are needed. However, Buddhism encourages us to see silence as a valuable and thoughtful option, reminding us that sometimes the most powerful gift we can offer is simply to be present, to listen, and to share in someone else's suffering. Silence in the face of pain embodies the Buddhist ideals of kindness, compassion, and deep listening. It encourages us to be truly present for others, respecting their autonomy, and providing comfort in ways that go beyond words. By adopting this practice, we contribute to the healing and well-being of others and cultivate a more compassionate and connected world. 5. Silence during our own pain and suffering. Always embrace silence when you are experiencing suffering. This principle highlights the importance of showing self-compassion and caring for ourselves in difficult moments. It invites us to turn inward and find healing through the power of silence. At some point in life, we all face times of distress, sorrow, and hardship. Whether due to the loss of a loved one, a personal struggle, or emotional turmoil, suffering is an inevitable part of being human. During these moments, our instinct is often to reach out to others for support and comfort. However, Buddhism teaches that there are times when silence, particularly in our personal suffering, can be a deeply healing force. When we are suffering, silence provides a sacred space for introspection and self-compassion. It allows us to acknowledge our pain without judgment, offering ourselves the same kindness and understanding we would offer to others. Within this silence, we can begin to process our emotions, thoughts, and experiences, creating room for growth and healing. Silence also offers respite from the pressure to appear strong or to express our pain to others. While talking to trusted friends or professionals can be vital, there are times when the depths of our pain cannot be captured in words. In such moments, silence gives us the freedom to be present with our suffering, to simply sit with it, without the need to explain or defend it. In silence, we also have the opportunity to connect with our inner strength and wisdom. Buddhism teaches that suffering is an intrinsic part of life and can be a source of personal growth and insight. In the quiet space of our own hearts and minds, we may uncover profound truths about ourselves and the nature of our pain. We can explore the fleeting nature of all things, the interconnectedness of life, and the transience of our suffering. By embracing silence, we create the conditions for deep self-reflection and healing. Suffering is a universal experience. Each of us encounters pain, distress, and hardship at various points in life. These experiences can be triggered by loss, emotional turmoil, physical illness, or any number of life's challenges. In times of suffering, we often feel the urge to share our pain with others, in hopes of finding comfort. Buddhism acknowledges the importance of reaching out to others in these moments, emphasizing the value of community and compassion. However, this teaching also highlights that silence during times of personal suffering can be just as important as seeking external support. Silence during our suffering provides a refuge for self-care and reflection. It offers a space where we can confront our pain without criticism or judgment. This process of self-compassion is vital to emotional healing, as it allows us to silence our inner critic and give ourselves permission to experience our pain. In this space, we create an opportunity for emotional processing and personal growth. Silence offers relief from the external expectation to articulate our feelings to others. While sharing our suffering with others can certainly be healing, there are times when our pain is simply too deep or complex to express in words. Silence in these moments allows us to sit with our pain and accept it without needing to explain it or make sense of it for others. This experience of silence is liberating, as it frees us from the pressure to frame our suffering in a way that others can understand. Instead, it allows us to simply be with our pain, acknowledging it as part of our present reality. By embracing this silence, we can heal, reflect, and ultimately transform our suffering into an opportunity for growth. Remaining quiet in these 5 key moments allows us to transform inner turmoil, grow in empathy, and deepen our understanding of others. In doing so, we safeguard our connections, reduce unnecessary conflict, and help create a more peaceful and united world. We train ourselves to stay present, to truly hear, and to welcome the calming influence of silence in both our lives and those around us. As these practices become part of our everyday experience, we begin a path of inner growth and self-realization. We draw nearer to the core values of Buddhism, relieving pain, nurturing awareness, and recognizing our shared existence. Through this, we not only begin to resolve the challenges of life, but also step onto the road toward serenity and awakening. Silence is vital. It nourishes us like breath, like sunlight sustains the earth. When our minds are packed with chatter and distraction, there's no room for clarity. In the deep stillness of these 5 situations, we uncover the space we need to live with greater presence, kindness, and sincerity. If this message resonated with you, and you found value in the power of silence and the wisdom of Buddhist teachings, I invite you to support the channel by liking this video, sharing it with others who may benefit, and subscribing for more content like this. Your support helps me continue creating thoughtful and mindful videos. Let's keep exploring these timeless teachings together, embracing stillness, compassion, and awareness, one quiet moment at a time. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.